Okay, so with Windows 11 being out now, I figured it'd be a good idea to make a video on how to set up a Windows 11 virtual machine. So to start off with, we got our web browser Firefox open. So we're just going to search for Windows 11 ISO download. Looks like this is the one we want here. And we can skip these first two options because since we're doing a virtual machine, we just want the ISO file. So we're going to click this, Windows 11 Multi-Edition ISO, click download. We want the English version, confirm, and click on 64-bit download. So it's a pretty big download, it says 5.2 gigabytes. So I'll pause the video here and pick it up whenever it's done. Okay, so the ISO download completed. So what we're going to do now, open up your Oracle VM VirtualBox, and we're going to add a new machine. We're going to come up with a name for it, so we'll just call it Windows 11 Test. There's been an issue running Windows on virtual machines, so you have to make sure, don't choose Windows 11, you got to make sure you change it to Windows 10 64-bit. So I'll go with that. We're going to bump up the RAM to 8 gigabytes. Click Next. Create virtual hard disk. Yep. VDI. And dynamically allocated. Yep, that's good. Okay, so here's where you can run into some problems. Windows 11 by default needs more than this default 50 gigabytes. So you have to go in here and change it to at least 60, probably more, but we'll go with 60 for now. Hit create. Okay, so now that our Windows virtual machine is created, we'll just go through and check some of the settings here really quick. System, yep, 8 gigabytes of RAM. We'll bump up the processors. We'll give it 2 just for now. Might be a little slow, but yep, all that looks good. Okay, so here, storage is pretty important. We got to make sure we change this empty disk drive. We got to find our ISO file. So we'll go over here, choose disk file, and find your Windows 11 download. So that looks good. We'll click OK, and we'll start the virtual machine. Okay, so it's booted up here. So all this is good. English. We're going to click Next. Install now. Okay, so there's actually a trick sometimes you have to do to get Windows 11 to install properly. So when you're at this screen, if you try it first and it doesn't work, what you have to do, press Shift F10. It's going to bring up the command prompt. You're going to type in regedit to bring up the registry editor. Oops, it closed. Hold on. So what you have to do is navigate to this file path, computer, HKey, local machine, system, setup, and you're going to have to create a file. You can call it lab config or whatever you want. To create it, you basically just have to click under the setup new and key, and it'll create your lab config. Once you're in here, you have to add these 4 keys in here. And to add these, just right click, go to new, DWORD 32-bit value, and you have to call them basically exactly how you see them here. So bypass CPU check, bypass RAM check, bypass secure boot check, and bypass TPM check. I don't need this, I'm just going to delete it. And once you have all these in here, you got to make sure you go here, change the value, all of these values to 1. So this one's set to 1, that's set to 1, and that's set to 1. So once that's done, you can close this, and you close the command prompts, and we'll keep going. So you can click on the product key, for now we're gonna just stick with Windows 11 Home. We're gonna click Next, and this is usually where it fails if you didn't do that previous step. Okay, so we're gonna click I accept, click Next. Let's go with Custom Install. Yep, that's our virtual hard drive we create, so we're gonna click Next. Okay, installing Windows. This is probably going to take a while, so I'll pause the video and pick it back up whenever it's finished. Okay, so that took a while, but we're finally here. So we're going to click United States. Yep, US keyboard. Skip second layout. Okay, so we're here. I skipped past all the prompts where it asks you to name your PC and sign in with your Microsoft account. So once you do all that, it may restart a couple times, but here it's creating our account. So this will probably take another 10-15 minutes, so I'll pause the video again and pick it back up whenever it's done. Alright, so we're finally here at the Windows home screen. So this is probably where I'll stop the video. My plan is to use this virtual machine to do some PowerShell scripting tutorials. So that's kind of why we did this whole project here. So I'll go ahead and end it here, and thanks for watching.